Welcome to Agentforce Mindshift, designing AI that actually works, teaching agents how to solve problems. I don't know if you have already started playing with Agentforce, not just on the trails, clicking buttons, but and copy pasting, but actually building your own. It's a lot harder than what it looks like. And there's a lot of things that we have to unlearn and some new things that we have to learn. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. This is me. You guys know me already. My name is Andres Perez. I go by El Toro IT. I am based in Canada. I have my own blog and YouTube channel, certifications, etc., etc. All right. So what is it that we're going to be doing today? So first of all, we're going to understand what AI is. What's an LLM? Talk about hallucinations. Talk about vibe coding. Talking about the fact that agents are non-deterministic. How natural language can get you into trouble because it's very vague. Then we talk about learning how to design Agentforce solutions, and we'll talk about best practices that I've discovered myself and also seen on internal documents inside Salesforce. With regards to Agentforce, we're going to talk about standard versus custom agents, but today is about customizing agents, building your own agents. You can start with the standard templates or standard agents and then enhance them with the techniques that we're going to learn today. So like the BDR or whatever else. We're going to talk about Atlas, the reasoning agent, Agentforce Builder, talk about RAG, and everything is going to be built around a particular web application that the developer advocates team built a while back, which is called the Dreamhouse App. So they have pretty good, it's a little bit older app, but it's really good. It has good pictures, so I thought it looks cool. So we're going to enhance that with the agents today. I decided to create this session because creating Agentforce agents is hard. And actually, it's not. The clicking part is easy. Trailhead does a really good walk over how to copy paste agents, but coming with the actual agents and start building the agents, that's actually where the fun starts. So it's like if you go to a car dealership, and you get a car, you turn it on, you turn it off, and say, yep, I'll buy it. Well, that's actually not really enough. You actually need to learn to drive it. And actually, companies like BMW and others actually have schools to teach people how to drive. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about today. It's not just turning features on, it's actually how you go about thinking on building those particular agents. Ready to learn? Good, because I'm ready to teach. All right, so what is AI? And do I really need to ask? Hopefully you've heard about AI by now. But actually I do. I do want to ask you a question. When did AI start? Would you believe me if I tell you that it's actually been around 75 years since we've been working with AI in the industry? Everything started with a Turing test back in 1950. Then 56, some conference, they came up with the artificial intelligence concept term. Then kind of thing went down for a little bit, and then in the 1990s, IBM created two very interesting computers, Deep Blue, which won on chess against Garry Kasparov, and then IBM Watson, which won on Jeopardy. But then we have another winter, kind of things cooled down a little bit until not too long ago, and 2022, ChatGPT became mainstream. They've been working with ChatGPT since 2018, about LLMs and stuff. Now things are really picking up speed, really, really, really fast, and this is where Agentforce comes today. But everything is based on what is called a large language model. So what's an LLM? Well, an LLM is capable of understanding and generating human language. It's trained on massive amounts of text data. It actually read the entire internet twice. So I read books, Reddit, Stack Exchange, Wikipedia, blog posts. It read the whole thing. And By reading that, it learned how humans write, how we think, and how we talk. So now it can do the same. And the LLMs can be used for chatbots, for coding, for summarization, translation, automation, even agents, of course. And there's some LLMs that are kind of popular. There's many. There's a whole bunch. I learned about the whole list is pretty long. It even gets longer every day. So GPT, of course, you've heard about it. Claude, Gemini, Llama, etc., etc. So how does an LLM work? Well, actually, that's a really good question. LLMs are probabilistic. What does that mean? Basically, there's math, a statistic model that predicts the next word or phrase. Also, they are non-deterministic. What does that mean? Slightly different answers with the same inputs, which makes it feel more natural. We'll talk about a lot about this deterministic because when you work with Agentforce, you got to understand that your responses are non-deterministic. And also hallucinations. So what is hallucination means? Well, making up non-existent facts. The LLM might be wrong, but it's still confident about what it's saying. So it is a good idea to use the LLMs or the AI for idea generation and maybe drafting text or code, but always check the answers. And there's a phrase that is trust but verify. Trust that it will give you the right answer, but doesn't hurt to verify. So what is the difference between a wise person, a smart person, and an LLM? Well, the LLMs will never admit that they don't know the answer to. They will make it up. And they make things up that are not true and probably don't even make sense, but they are confident that what they tell you, even if the answer what they're telling you is not true. So I was thinking about this and I came up with an idea. To err is human. To invent facts and deliver them like truth, well, that requires artificial intelligence. Well, thanks guys for laughing. All right, cool. All right, so for example, these are very true examples. Actually, there's a link on the bottom of the slides. I don't know if these are private links or public links, but if you click on it, if I click on it, I'll get to see the actual conversation in ChatGPT. So I ask, is 3821 a prime number? And this is the answer that it gave me. To check to see if 3821 is a prime number, we need to see if there's any divisors. Okay, that's true. So after checking, it's found that 47 times 81 gives you 3821. What does that mean? Well, it means that it's not a prime number. But if you pull out a calculator and you do 47 times 81, it is 3807, not 3821. Trust but verify. Okay, what is vibe coding? There's a term called vibe coding which came up very recently, February 2nd, where basically you describe the code that you want to create it and AI will write that code for you. So then with this concept, developers were now guides, not just people who write code and type code on the keyboard, but actually more like an architect, thinking about what the code should be. But always trust but verify. It always needs to have human judgment. Here's an example. Okay, I actually wrote this, and there's a link for the ChatGPT that wrote this. Say, write a Salesforce Apex code that can run in Execute Anonymous, so valid Apex code that doesn't need anything else, that queries the accounts group by city and prints the city and the number of accounts in each city. So I want to query the accounts, group by city, and tell me in Toronto there's 3, in New York there's 5, in Chicago there's 7. So I did that query, and that's the response. You take a look at the code is actually right, okay? It compiles, it runs, and it gives you the answer. So what's wrong with that? Well, I ask, is there a better way to do this code? Is there a more efficient way of doing this code? And then it came up with this answer, which is also going to work, and it's actually going to be much, much more efficient because now the database, the one that is doing the group, you don't need to keep a counter yourself. Okay, so trust, but verify. It's going to be a really good tool. It's going to help you, but don't take the answers blindly. All right, one more thing. Which one are you? Are you a coder or are you a developer? What's the difference? A developer uses creativity to solve a problem, adapt to new technologies, agentic programming, vibe coding. Your job will be safe. Are you a coder? What does that mean? You are very good at writing code for computers. You are very fast at typing code. You don't have a syntax error. Well, start updating your resume because the job is going to be for those that are developers. All right. So will AI take your job? Nope. But somebody who knows AI will take your job. AI will not replace developers. They will replace coders, but not developers. We will be the architect of those systems. Now, it's not the first time that we have to adapt to the changes in technology. I've been programming since I was 15 years old, and there's a lot of things that I've seen, different things, things change. We went into basic, we went into object-oriented programming, we went into web development, cloud computing. Nowadays, it's agentic development. We have to adapt. It's not the first time, and I'll be sure to tell you that it is not the last time we're going to need to adapt. So those who adapt will survive. All right, so enough talking. Let's do the first exercise where we're going to be getting an org. So as I mentioned before, we are doing this with org claim. You should be familiar with that. Everybody's an instructor here. You guys should be familiar with that. The code is MTL 519. Get an org. I'll remind you, if you click in the download, you'll get to this site, which has a lot of really good information. I posted a lot of links and documentation and things that I found that didn't want to really talk about it, but if you want to go in depth, that's the place to go. It actually has an exercise guide. So if we open the exercise guide, actually, maybe let's open it in a different tab. We open in the new exercise guide. There is several exercises here. First one we're going to do is to distribute the orgs. So first of all, we need to log into an org. All right, so we're going to need to log in where we know how to do that. Let's then own the org. I want you to go into the settings, change your first name, last name, email. Let me do that for my own email. All right, and click save. I'm gonna get an email shortly. I'll do that in a little bit. I'm also want to for this I want to set my time zone to be my actual time zone. So I am in Toronto, so I am GMT -4. Tripti, you're in India, so everybody puts their own time zone. Toronto, America, Toronto. All right. And we click save here. All right. Now we need to check to see if we have data cloud, which I think these orgs already do. If not, you have to click it and just wait for half an hour. But we do have data cloud in there. The next thing we're going to do is install a package that I created, which contains the Dreamhouse app. So we need to install the Dreamhouse app in these orgs. We do that by copying this URL and going into there. We're going to install it for all users once we get it. Install for our users. Click install, click yes, because we're making some calls to external sites. So we need to say yes. Click continue. It will take a little bit to install.
Andres, how did you get that the URL to go to install a package? Could you share that with us?
Yes, yes. In org claim, let me do that again. In org claim, if you click on the exercise guide,
Right,
click it download. It's actually not going to download. It's going to open a new tab.
right.
Then we go here in exercise guide.
Mhm.
And once we go in the exercise guide, we are in exercise 1, distributed orgs.
Okay.
And that's the link. Was that your question, Eric?
No, it's not. I've got the install package ID. I need to know how to get to the place in my org.
Oh, got it.
where I
Okay.
can install it.
So then the next step is what you need. So you click copy here. You go into any page, you delete everything after .com, and you paste that. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, let me just, okay, here we go.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
All right, copy and then paste it here.
After delete everything after .com. So I removed the name. All right, good. But I'll use the wording. Good call. Thanks. All right. So what we're gonna do is we have an app. Well, once we install this, we have an app that was created, which is called the Dreamhouse. Actually, let's put that up front. And we also gonna need data cloud up front. All right, so let's go to Dreamhouse. In Dreamhouse, there is a tab which is called Settings. You click on import data and you wait. It's gonna take a little bit because it's gonna delete some data first, and these orgs have some cases, and I think that's what's taking a little bit to delete.
I'm sorry, what did you click on?
So I went into the tabs. I went to the last one, which is called Settings.
Settings. Okay, good. There we go.
Settings. There's I think it's a green button. I think it is.
Got it. All right.
You click on it and then disable, so you don't click twice. And it will just hold there. That's kind of expected. It will take a little bit, maybe a minute or something. Once that it's done, then you'll have a toast, and the button will be a green gain. Oh, Eric, this one's for you. Oh, there you go. I finished creating the data. All right, so this one's for you. Disabling all those annoying pop-ups. So
yeah.
we go into the setup menu. You taught me this one. Thanks, Eric.
You wouldn't believe how many positive reviews I got just by telling that.
So you go to guidance center, flip this off, and then in-app guidance, go to settings and both checkboxes off, click save. Now we don't get any more of those annoying pop-ups.
Okay, now we have every single class I teach.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Now I do, since Eric showed me that one. All right. So let's go to the second exercise, but we'll just hold there. We're going to go back to slides. And we're going to talk a little bit about what Agentforce is. So what is Agentforce? Do I really need to ask? All right. So what's an Agentforce agent? An Agentforce agent is an autonomous AI which makes decisions, understands the context, learns from interactions, operates with clear goals, and is constrained by guardrails. That's what an Agentforce agent is. An Agentforce agent, you may also have heard Salesforce likes to use the term digital worker. What does that mean? Well, in a digital worker, it's like hiring a new employee that is going to have a role. The role describes what they are going to do. You do that with Agentforce with the help of topics and instructions. They also have knowledge. This is what that new employee will know how to do. Data is grounded in either Salesforce or Data Cloud. They can take actions. This is what they can do. You define that with either standard or custom actions, but also you need to indicate what they cannot do. And again, you do this with instructions and built-in securities, features like scope and everything else. And then a channel. This is where they're going to do the work. It can be inside the org. That's what we're going to be doing today. On a website, like a digital experience, a mobile app, and Slack, etc. And all of that, it's founded on the instant trust layer. But what exactly is Agentforce? Well, with Agentforce, you have two types of agents. You have a standard agents for Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, etc., 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 etc. And you have a set of tools. Those tools include, of course, Agent Builder, where you build your topics, your scope, your instructions. It also has the actions that can be invoked, like flows, Apex prompts, APIs. It has the Atlas Reasoning Engine, which is the planner, is the one that decides which action to execute. All of that is what we're going to be focusing on today. So the new agentic programming, which is to program with agents, it's a new way of thinking of building custom UI. The traditional way of building custom UI, it's just by creating a form. I want to travel from Toronto to Montreal on June 4th and coming back on the 7th. The new way of doing it with Agentforce is you just write a prompt. You do not need to learn how to fill these forms. You just need to type your questions in English. So find me a cheap flight from Toronto to Montreal. Now, as agentic programmers that we are, or we will be, you also need to think about not only designing UI and interactions and the forms, but you design conversational scripts. What are the questions that you want to answer that your users can actually type in? You don't handle error conditions anymore. You establish guardrails. So the users don't have to fill forms anymore, but what you can do is ask for clarification questions in case there's some missing information. Say, I want to take a flight. When? Where are you going? Ask clarification questions. You don't design a brand theme with colors and stuff. You define a brand voice. How is your agent going to reply to you? And last but not least, you design those conversation pathways. If the user is going to ask you this, then you're going to tell you this, then you're going to ask this, then you're going to tell this, then you can design those conversations. All right. So we did talk about that the agents are, or AI in general, is not deterministic. What does that mean specifically? Well, deterministic means that if you provide the same inputs, it will produce the same results every single little time. If you enter 21 times 2, it will always give you 42. In the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, it will always give you the same thing. It is deterministic. That's how we have been written code forever. The new way of working with AI is non-deterministic. Same input, throw a dice. What is the numbers that are going to fall on the dice? Well, that is not deterministic. It could be a 5 and a 2. It could be a 6 and a 1 or whatever, right? It doesn't really, well, unless they are cheating dice, which are loaded, whatever. But anyways, but you're not going to know the numbers of those dice. What you will know, though, is that the dice will fall. They're not going to float to the ceiling. They're not going to go from white to red. They're going to change colors. They will fall. They will stay looking the same thing. Which number are they going to fall? Well, that part is non-deterministic. So what we need to do as agentic programming is to work with the deterministic aspects of the non-deterministic AI. So for example, let's go with code. Code is deterministic. Take a look at the code. Very simple code. What does this code do? Well, this code is going to loop 10 times, and it's going to either write, if it is for every even number, 2, 4, 6, 8, whatever. It's going to say even. Will this code do the same thing every single time? Oh, yeah, absolutely. You bet on it. Could it be possible that sometimes it says even the same code without changing the code? Say not odd, divisible by 2. No, of course not. It's always going to say even because this is deterministic. What about non-deterministic code? Well, we ask for the LLM to write a code that generates the same type of code. Then we say something like generate Salesforce Apex code suitable for anonymous Apex execution. The code should check the first 10 numbers and indicate if the number is even. Because AI is non-deterministic, it could show you this code, it could show you this code, or it could show you anything else. The very code was generated, but it kind of does the same thing. Kind of. Okay? It will print even or odd. All right? Give me another, let me give you another example. Two friends, let's assume for now that they are friends. We don't know who they are, but two people who know each other meet on the street after a while, they haven't met. Says, hey, how are you? What is she gonna do? What will she say? Well, she can say doing great, pretty good, all good, quite well, splendid, just fine, going well, very well, excellent. Same words. I'm sorry, same answer, different words. She's not gonna punch him. She's not gonna run. She's not gonna call police. She's not. So there's things that we know that are gonna happen that are deterministic, and some things that we just need to trust that things are gonna be work. Now, trust but verify. All right. So in the next set of exercises, what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on building our own agents, and the results may vary. Now we're building the same agents. We're using the same steps. Where you have the same type of org. We install the same package. Results should be similar. Similar words, similar behavior. All of that because AI is non-deterministic. Actually, results will vary. It will be crazy that everybody has the exact same output. I think that's not going to happen. That's expected. It's like in winter. You know that two snowflakes are never the same. They're completely different. But you know it's going to be cold and wet and you're going to have to shovel it and stuff. We know that. But we don't know the shape of the snowflake. All right. So let's do second exercise. We're going to do a very simple agent just to learn a little bit of the mechanics of setting up Agentforce and building a simple agent. So if we go to exercise 2, there's a couple of ways of doing that. There's the easy way that at the end of the previous exercise, we just can click on this link, takes us there, or you can just go back to here and click there. In any way, go to exercise number 2. All right. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to enable Einstein. We do that by going into Einstein, setup, and we're going to turn on Einstein. All right. We need to wait a couple seconds to on the back end, Einstein need to do its thing. Then we're going to refresh the screen, and we're going to type in here agents. You should see Agentforce Agents. If not, refresh and a couple times maybe, and it will take you there. So we're going to go to Agentforce Agents, and we're going to enable both the Agentforce and the default agent, which on this org is called Einstein Copilot. All right. All right, we're gonna go into Einstein Copilot. We're gonna open that in a builder. We're going to deactivate it. Click yes. We're going to deactivate it. Now we're going to settings. And on the bottom of that pop-up model dialog, click on the checkbox, keep a record of the conversations with enhanced event log to review. Okay, that's gonna, what that is gonna do is gonna keep us a log of all the interactions for this agent in Data Cloud. Click save. Remove all the topics. We only have one in here, so remove it from the agent. We have no topics. All right. I don't care what it's called right now, just remove it. So 0 topics. Then we're going to create a new topic. We do that by going into the new topic. We're going to use this pop-up here. We're doing the hello world, right? So what we want to do is we can copy this text from here and paste it over here. It says assist the user with solving simple addition problems. You should only do addition, like math. Not other math operations are allowed. Click next. Trust but validate. So make sure that everything that is the description, the scope, the different instructions, they make sense. Okay. These are just suggestions. You can delete it all and create a blank one if you want to. It's possible right now that you got different answers, I guess. Mine is called the simple addition assistance. Description assist users with solving simple addition problems. If your words are different, that's okay. Because remember, this is non-deterministic. All right. We click next. We're not going to add any actions. All the actions are going to be done by Atlas or by the AI, which is just simple math. And we just click finish. I don't understand why this one is shown. It's saying that the topic that we just created is similar to the one that we already had. But we didn't have any.
I got the
I
same
have
thing.
that happen all the time.
Yeah, but we didn't have any. So it is similar to which one? This is kind of, so it is a useful, I mean, trust but verify. All right. Trust but verify. It is a really good message that if you had 2 duplicates, and we're going to talk about best practices later, you should never do that, etc., etc., etc. So it may be a good, but in this case, it's kind of silly. I think there's maybe a little bug in Salesforce. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to copy this utterance into here, and we just hit enter, and it should say something like 2 plus 3 equals 5. Okay, now it could be just give you a 5. It could say 2 plus 3 and the 2 lines for indicating equals. It could be different words, but that's fine. They expect it's basically what we're expecting to have. 2 plus 3 is 5. Now we can also say what is 5 plus 3? Copy that over here. Okay, 5 plus 3 equals 8. All right, so now, for example, here, take plus, P-L-U-S, but before it has a the plus sign character. Okay, let's do this. See what happens. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see if it is smart enough, and we can click here and say, it looks like you've listed a sequence of numbers. How can I assist you with these numbers? Did it add for anybody? Did anybody get a 20? No? All right. So, oh, wait, hold on. Add them. What do you want to do? I want to add them. And then it should say that the answer is 20. What about if I do, can you divide 5 plus 3? Did I just say plus? Divide by 3. Okay. Oh, that shouldn't have worked. Because we say that on the scope, we say that you should not be able to divide, right? So we need to, one best practice that I'm going to show you right now, we'll talk about them, a whole bunch of them later, but the first one is start small. Go with
Maybe Andres, sorry, you did not refresh the conversation preview. I'm doubtful because it is using migration default topic.
Oh, you're right. Absolutely. Thank you. Good call. Um, we'll also talk about that. Um, um, refresh so it gets yeah. So it should do a simple addition assistance, which now it says I can only assist with addition operations. So what if I do 2, 3, 4, 5 with this one? Let's do a refresh.
Yeah, I get 20 when I refreshed it. When I did 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It looks like you provided more than 2 numbers. Could you specify which 2 numbers would you like to add them together? All of them.
Yeah, I got 20 right off the bat.
Well, we're getting good. We're getting different answers, which is good because that helps me prove that actually this is not deterministic. All right. So that's the hello world. We're gonna leave it at there. We can, I guess, maybe we can go to the next exercise. Get that ready.
Yeah, just one thought. If I give an utterance 3 and 4, it is summing up. 3 and 4, A and T 4, 3 and 4. Any number, and it is summing up for me. That's great.
All right. Good.
When I put in 15 divided by 3, I can only assist with addition operations. So that's
I think
good.
I got this the same thing, Stuart, when I refreshed the agent because as I think it was a log who pointed out that it was using the standard ones. All right. So this is probably one of my favorite sessions for today. I call it wait. That's not what I meant. When words fail. So as you saw earlier, the way that you describe your agents, it's in English, which is non-deterministic. And there's going to be a problems with that if you're not careful. So let's take a little side tour for a little bit. Husband and wife, they're in the kitchen. Wife says, go to the store and get 1 bottle of milk. If they have eggs, bring 12. Moments later, the developer, different people, of course, because AI cannot generate with the same people, but different moments later, the wife asks, why did you bring back 12 bottles of milk? Well, they had eggs. So language, well, thank you, Stuart. Language is very, very important. All right. Now, let me ask you a question here. What will this draw? Imagine on your head, generate an image of a person writing with a left hand. And I actually did this prompt. And I asked AI. I say, okay, actually, in this case, it was Gemini, which is the one that creates pretty cool pictures. Generate an image of a person writing with a left hand. And it generated this image. Now I'm going to ask you guys, what's wrong with the picture? Tripti, go off mute.
She's using right hand.
She is using the right hand.
Yeah.
But does she has a left hand? Tripti,
Sorry?
does she have a left hand or is she missing
Yes.
an arm?
No.
Okay,
Left
no,
hand
she
is there,
has.
yes.
So generate an image of a person writing.
Okay. Got it. With a left hand.
Yeah, she has a left hand. Okay, so the AI. Well, actually, I'm taking the same example for something else. In reality, it's really, really hard to get. Even if you write yourself your really good prompt, it's really hard to get that lady to hold the pen with the left hand because of the way that the AI has been trained. Most of the image, 99.9% of the images on the web are for people writing with the pens on the right hand. So the AI doesn't know how to draw with the left hand. But when I saw that, I was like, wait, but this also applies to the topic that I want to talk about, which is words can get you into trouble because this person has a left hand and she is writing. All right, good. All right, so another example. This one's for you, Stuart. Since you're the math instructor, or used to be. there are 10 red balls. I mean, everybody, not for Stuart, it's not right. It's for everybody, of course. There are 10 red balls. Let's assume. Don't count them. The picture is different. There are 2 times more green balls than red balls. How many red balls? How many green balls are there? Tripty, you went back on mute. Couldn't hear you.
2 times red ball should be 2 into 10, 20.
20. All right. Anybody thinks it's different? All right. So I asked ChatGPT the same question. There are 10 red balls. Well, there are 10 red balls. There are 2 times more green balls than red balls. How many balls are there? All right. And it said 20. And then I say, maybe. Try again. Show your math. Okay. So 2 times more, not 2 times as many, 2 times more, it's actually 30. 2 times as many, that is 20. So little words like that, when you're writing a prompt or an instruction or a description or something, if you're not very clear with your words, it can lead to unexpected behavior. So trust but verify. All right. All of this came because I actually had this happen to me for real when I was starting to learn about Agentforce. I took the trail that Sofia Rodriguez asked for for some activities or whatever is on the trail. We teach that one, so I'm sure you guys know which one I'm talking about. So I took it a little bit longer. I say, okay, I wrote this instruction. If a customer would like information about an experience, but the resort does not offer it, ask if they are interested in making a suggestion, then invoke the action create an experience request. I want to play ping pong, but let's do like, I want to play with, there should be matches. You guys are going to provide the tables and the rackets and the balls, but then the guests will team up and then there's going to be a tournament and then somebody's going to be a champion and some. So I had some ideas about this, right? So then I asked on the AJ, I want to play ping pong. The agent says, we do not have an experience related to ping pong. Would you like to make a suggestion? I was like, yes, I do. Of course I do. The agent immediately responded, thanks, I have created a request for you. It didn't allow me to make a suggestion. All the crazy ideas that I had, I was not able to actually do them. Why? Well, because I should have said, if they are interested in making a suggestion, if so, ask them to describe the activity they would be interested in, and then invoke the action, right? You got to be very clear with your words. Think like you're talking to somebody who is going to take everything literally. It's actually what's happening. All right. And this kind of a little bit of a sad story. My wife was feeling not well one day, and she wanted me to go through a service that we have here in Canada, in Ontario, to have a nurse call you or a doctor call you back. And then when I was helping out and filling the form, I said, wait, hold on. I know you're really sick, but let me take a screenshot and I'll tell you why later. So, because I found the question, we see all patients. Please enter your Ontario OHIP health card number, whatever that number is. If you do not have a valid OHIP card, we may call you to get additional information. Yes or no? But what is the question? I mean, that's not even a question. So even we're not used to writing good things in English that make sense. We assume that meant, yeah, okay, I'm okay with that. They should have an okay, not a yes, no button. But all right. So we're going to talk about, going back to the project, we're going to talk about the Dreamhouse app. Yeah, I think this one will be a simple one. I was looking at the clock. Maybe we'll do the 5 minutes break after we finish with this. So have you guys seen this app before? It's built by the developer advocates. It's about a company which is called Dreamhouse. It's a you can buy your house. Well, it's all pretend, of course, but you can find a house in Boston and search for the house and stuff. So I wanted to take this app and enhance it and make it more smart with the help of AI. Now you can get it on Trailhead. You can also get it on GitHub. And I took that as a base. I added a few things that I needed for the project that we're going to be working today. I created some flows and epics and stuff so that we can call it. And then I'm gonna do this is more like a demo. Just to show you what's in here. So there's a property explorer tab. It shows you the house. Yeah, and you can click on any house and it will give you that picture and where the address and all this stuff. There's also a property finder. So it has all these different properties on a map. It also has a properties page. There's one that we're going to use today, which is quite a bit on all the examples. We're going to use the 18 Henry Street, which is called Stunning Victorian. So if we go to Stunning Victorian, that is this little house over here. There's a highlights here. You have related records for what things that we're going to be doing today. Price histories, open house, and the what is this? Fuel history tracking, I think it's called. Then you have actual all the details and whatever else. So we're gonna use this house quite a bit for the demos. And that brings me into the first break. I'm gonna do a 5-minute timer. Right. So what I want you to do now is think. Maybe draw on a piece of paper if you need to or something. How could we use Agentforce? Open up Notepad or just think about it. How could we use Agentforce? Think about some use cases. Couple of use cases. Stuart, you're late.
A 5-minute break.
Well, didn't you say that 59 or 10:01 is already late?
Before I will just wait till the survey.
Oh. All right. So what I want you to do is take a minute or two, please. Think about what agent could you build? What type of agent would be a good use case to build around the example that I just show you for a Dreamhouse? Write it down. Think about it. All right. I'll give you a minute or two. Did you think about maybe finding a house? I want to find a house. Maybe I want to find a 3-bedroom house. I want to have one on this particular address. I have $1 million. I want to find a house. Maybe updating it. Okay. The realtor, not the customer, of course, but the realtor go and says, actually, the price going up or the price going down, or maybe it was mistyped. It's actually 4 bedrooms, not 3 bedrooms, or whatever. I don't know. Maybe the neighborhood. What's around the house? Are there good schools? Are there good restaurants? Maybe that the buyers, or maybe the realtors will create what we call an open house. I don't know if that's a concept in India, Tripti, but a realtor, the person that sells the house on behalf of the house owner, on Saturday from 12 to 6 p.m., anybody who wants to come and see the house, they can come in. That's an open house. That's very typical here in Canada, I found. Now, who was your user? Was it realtors, like Salesforce users, or families? Let's say digital experience guests. I want to sell my house, or I'm looking for a house, right? So what we're going to do primarily is everything except the digital experience side. We only have a very limited amount of time. So we're going to do basically all these things for the realtors, internal Salesforce users. I may do other recordings later for the next phases of this project. All right. So then the Dreamhouse team, the IT department, the product manager, the project manager, management created some documents. They created project kickoff, which gives you the vision, the scope of the document of the project that we're building, what technologies we're going to be using, some requirements. They gave you technical design. What's the architecture specifications? What are the different component details, implementation guidelines? And with that, we came up with some use cases. And actually, those documents, you can view them right here. I'm going to do this also as a little quick demo. This is the project kickoff document. All of these documents were generated by AI, of course. Key technologies, data sources, things about the actual project that you were thinking about. We have the technical design document. So we're going to be using Agentforce, of course. We're going to be using RAG. We have an API because we have some web services that we want to talk to. We have the data model. We have these objects. We have external data. So we have a lot of different things in here. All right, security. And then last but not least, we have the list of use cases. So with all this idea, we came up, okay, with few use cases. First is what I classify them as properties. So query for properties, find the details of a property, find the price history, find the status updates, do some analytics. We're going to do the open houses, create an open house, find the open house. We're going to do RAG. I created a document. We're going to talk about that later. Neighborhood. This is through an API. What type of things we're going to get about the neighborhood, and not for this phase 2, digital experience, customers actually finding their questions to the answer. So if you want to, later after the session, go ahead and look at those documents. But I wanted to think about, okay, if I was building a real project, not just like a demo, but a real project, and I was actually part of the IT in Dreamhouse, what kind of information I would need? Because I wanted to make it as realistic as possible. Although it's fake, I wanted to make it as realistic as possible. Okay, so I created those documents there. All right. Let's go to the next one here. Let's go back here. All right. So the first one we're going to skip to the end. The last thing we're going to do is RAG. But actually, we need to prepare the org for that. Because RAG is actually 2 phases. So we're going to do phase 1 here. And later we'll do phase 2. The fun part will be for RAG, which is called Retrieval Augmented Generation. We'll do it for the second part. So what are we doing here? We're going to get a PDF file. We're going to load it. And we're going to wait until the data cloud creates the indexes. So why RAG? And what is the difference between RAG and fine-tuning your LLM? Well, with RAG, it allows you to get that external documents or external knowledge at runtime. If the document changes, we just re-upload the document and we're done. Fine-tuning, which is possible but very expensive, and this is what Mark Benioff and his Dreamforce keynote, or maybe it was the TDX keynote, talks about. Don't do it yourself. Doing it yourself is like fine-tuning the model. Okay, it's very costly, it takes a lot of time, and if things changes, you have to redo it again. So it's easier to update rather than having to retrain the LLM. You can also indicate that this information is coming from this source. You got those source links. With the LLM, you lose all those links, so you don't know where the information is coming from. So you don't have that source attribution. Very, very cheap to do with RAG, but of course, much more expensive to train your your LLM, with the documents. And flexible knowledge integration. because the documents can change at any time, rather than fine-tuning the LLM, which is fixed knowledge. So when you're working with RAG in Salesforce, you have to think about two different phases of the entire project. One phase is the offline data preparation. You load your PDF, you chunk it, it does the vector index, all that stuff. That's the preparation. Then when you run it, because you want to find the relevant information, that's when you do the actual search and use the vector searches to search on the vector indexes. All right. And then at runtime, the LLM will take all that information and make a cohesive response. All right. Today, or in this part, at this moment right now, we're going to talk about the offline data preparation. That's going to be on the next exercise. So what is going to happen is we're going to load the PDF. In our case, we're going to do a PDF. We could also do knowledge articles. And then it's going to be chunked, vectorized, and indexed. Those things are done by Data Cloud automatically. As soon as we load the PDF, everything starts running. And all the answers or all the results are going to be stored in Data Cloud. So let's do together exercise number 5, where we're going to load the file into Data Cloud. So the first thing we need to do is we need to create an Agentforce data library. So we go into the setup menu. We look in here for data library. We need to create a new library. We can get the name is going to be a listing policy. The API name is auto-generated. And the answer goes here. Policy on how to list properties at Dreamhouse. Click Save. Data type we say is going to be files. Actually, the instructions change. Hold on, things change here. This is exercise number 5, 2. It used to be a tab, but now that they added the web search, now it's not a tab but a drop down. Change from tab to search pick list. All right. So then we go here, we select files. Like I said before, it used to be a tab, not anymore. Click on upload files. Did I just click that? Click upload files. Oh, there you go. Oh, wait, we need to download it. The document, it's downloaded from in the exercise guide. I should probably switch that and bring that earlier. So if you click on that link right over here, it will take you to the page where you find the PDF document. We're going to download that document. Open it and download it. I'm going to save it onto the downloads. Okay. So we need to download it. Now we can upload it. The file that we just downloaded, of course. It will load in just a little bit. This once it's loaded and ready to start creating the index and whatever else, then this will turn into an enabled button. Now this index will take about 30 minutes to be created, roughly depending on the size of the PDF. So that's why I'm doing it right now. And then we'll talk about a whole bunch of stuff and basically, hopefully, but when we get to the last exercise, we'll have the file finished so that we can do that last exercise. All right, so the file has been loaded. It's supposed to be indexing right now. The one more thing I want to do is I want to go into Data Cloud. We're going to create a query to validate when the file is ready. Obviously not ready yet, but we'll create a query so that we can run it later. Under the data cloud in the query editor, click a new. We're going to call this test rag. Okay. We need to look for two files or two objects, two data model objects. One is called the chunk, where we can open that and create query. Okay, that's the first chunk. Obviously, if we run it, obviously there's not going to be any data yet, but that's fine. We'll keep that. The second one is the index. So we do that. We'll do the same thing. Close this. Make sure you save it so that those queries will be there when we need it back. Of course, they're running. There's no data going to be there yet. This will take about 30 minutes, but obviously we're not going to wait for that. We will just continue with the next thing. I just needed to bring this forward and not have to wait a half an hour in the next in the last exercise. All right, so we're gonna work now with building our agent. Show houses information. This is use case 1. The first thing you should always start doing, the place where you need to start working with Agentforce, is to think about the utterances. What is it that we're going to be answering? So in this case, we're going to be answering questions like, or utterance like, show me all listings, summarize the property named Stunning Victorian, give me the details for the property Stunning Victorian, give me the details for the property at 18, so we can do it by name, we can do it by address, maybe by zip code. Can you give me a summary of the properties at that zip code in case there's more than one property? Show me the properties with at least 3 bedrooms and at most 2 bathrooms. Show me the properties in Cambridge. How many listings are there grouped by city? Okay, so those are the type of utterances that we want to start thinking about answering. Okay, so let's get there. So it's going to be exercise 6. I guess we can leave that. Let's put it right here. Leave that open later, or we could open it later and come back to it. But I'm just gonna leave it open. So, all right. So, if you look into this link, we have the different utterances that we're going to be running, and the longer the list, the better. Give you better ideas of how to answer your questions, how to build the agent to answer those questions. All right, so we're gonna go into the setup agent. So we're going to set up Agentforce Agents. Now, in case you have never done this, look at my screen. We're gonna click on the caret, I think it's called, the chevron, the greater than, and under version 1, we're gonna go back to here and say clone version. We want to keep the version 1. Version 1 was the math. In case we want to keep it, we'll do that.
I'm sorry, Andres, could you please slow down just a little bit? Okay, now with the we went to Agentforce Agents and we're doing the Copilot and we're cloning it. Is that right?
Yeah, we are cloning. So look at my screen. You expand it. Under version 1, you say clone. So we keep version 1, which was the math. We get version 2, and then we open version 2.
When I click on the Copilot, I don't get that drop down. It immediately wants to take me. Oh,
yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Wait,
Version
hold on.
Okay.
Don't click. Look at my screen.
Yep.
Don't click here. Click here.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Click here. Then in version 1, you click clone. And then we're going to go to version 2, which.
Thank
you. Yeah, absolutely. Sure, I'm going to do it again. Version 2. Eric, you don't teach Data Cloud, do you?
I've never even seen Data Cloud.
Okay, good. When there's a part in there where it's the data mapping, there's a button that if you click on the side of inside the button, but on the side, it will do something completely different than if you click on the little of the button. The button is about that big. So if you click here, you get one behavior. You click here, you get another behavior. In Data Cloud, it's completely weird.
Okay.
Anyways, all right. So we're going to remove the math topic. So we just leave this empty. If you get an error, that's probably fine. Just click refresh and you should have no topics in there at all. Okay, we're going to create a new topic. So we go new plus topic plus new topic. Now here's a huge paragraph. Just make sure you copy the whole paragraph. And the paragraph says, you're a real estate Dreamhouse agent designed to assist brokers like Dreamhouse employees in managing the full life cycle of real estate property listings, houses, and apartments. Your primary responsibility is to provide comprehensive tools for retrieving, updating, and maintaining accurate property information. When a user requests a property listing information, retrieve and display the relevant details. So you got to be very, very descriptive, very clear in your language. Be careful with the words that you use, as we talked about in the previous section. English is very vague and it could take different meanings, a very small word. I actually wrote a lot of this using vibe coding, right? So it's like, okay, give me the prompt for something like this. And then it will give me good words that I can use for that. But I always trust and verify. I always adjust it, make sure that it makes sense. So I'm not this creative, but AI helps me quite a lot. And vibe coding is usually for Java, C#, Node, whatever. Can also be done for prompts. All right. So paste it. Click next. It's analyzing your prompt, and it builds the agent based on that particular prompt. It gives you the classification description, the scope, the different instructions. Always read it, make sure it sounds good, make sure that it actually makes sense. And that's typically how you would start writing a prompt. Now, I have a problem when I was building this particular session is that right now we are like, what, 7 of us, and we get 7 different answers, and working on 7 different exercises at the same time will be really, really hard. So what we're going to do is actually kind of do things that are more specific for this class today on this session, so that we all have the same type of agents. Because of course we can go many different routes here, and it would be very difficult to actually have something consistent. So for that purpose, and only for that purpose, we're really not going to continue with this particular topic right here. We're just going to close it. In real life, that is a really good help, and you can start from there and build something very, very good. Okay, but we would end up right now with 7 different things, and if some of you say, well, mine is not working, and we start different, it's going to be really, really hard. So what we're going to do instead of that is we're going to create a brand new topic. So cancel that. We're going to go back to new topic. Don't write anything in here. Just click next. And it gives you a blank template. This one we're going to call property management. The description is going to, and the next text is going to be very, very simple, which is another really good best practices. We'll talk about them in a little bit more detail later, but another very good practice is minimalistic. Start as small as possible and start increasing and increasing. If you have an utterance that doesn't work, then you go and adjust it. Don't just start writing the whole topic from scratch. So this one's manage property records. The scope, which is one of the guardrails we have, it's only manage property records. Very simple. And the instruction, very simple, manage property records. What does manage means? Well, let's see what agent thinks that it means, and then we'll fine tune it and adjust it as needed. All right. So very simple. We click next. Here we have a whole bunch of actions, actually 55 to be precise. We're going to filter and select the ones that are related to records. So we type in record, we get 7 of them, and we're going to select all 7. Just click on the big checkbox on the top, and all of them will be checked, and we click finish. We created our first topic. Very simple. Let's see how far it takes us, and then we fine tune it and take it across the line. So let's refresh that so that it uses our new prompt, a new topic. We have show all listings. Click enter. I'm gonna probably have to, yeah. All right, show all listings. Let's see what it does. Give it a minute. All right, seems to be working. Even though it's very simple, seems to be working, right? These are the properties that we have. All right, excellent. And there's even more. It just shows 3, but it's even more. All right. So let's see if I can summarize the property name Stunning Victorian. Click send. Wow. Impressive. It's working. All right. Good. Next one, give me the details of the property named Stunning Victorian. Let's see if it is different between summarizing or asking for the details. Hey, if this works, we're done. We don't need any session for this. All right. Oh, wow. Look at that. Even pictures. Yay. All right. What if I say, give me the details of the property located at 18 Henry Street. So not just by Stunning Victorian, but by address. That may or may not work. We'll see. Wow, this is so easy. All right, cool. All right, we're done. Let's go home. Well, actually, maybe not. Let's first
Actually,
activate.
Andres,
Yes.
for both utterances, summarize and give me the details. I got the exact same output, exact same response.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
Wait, hold on. Did you refresh every time? No, you just have one single conversation, right?
One single conversation.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, good. All right. So, all right. The AI is not deterministic. You're going to get different answers. That's expected. It's make sure that you do a restart of the conversation before every utterance you write. So you are testing your agent, not testing your conversation. Okay. All right. So we're going to deactivate this. We're going to make some changes. And we're going to ask for this first thing, which is called show all listings. Okay. Go back to the same utterances that we were testing before. Gonna make this big screen so that I have enough space on the center of the screen to show what I'm talking about. So we have a session start. This is the question you are making, show all listings. It uses the topic property management, which has 7 actions, standard actions. It has 1 instruction, which we see here is manage property records. Then it does a query. This is a standard action. The query is show all property records. What that is going to do, it's going to give you the results of property objects, and give you the fields for the property, and then it gets all the properties, and then it takes and formats that, and that's why we're seeing here are the property listings, here are the property listings, some data. The data gets displayed here. All right, so that's Planner working. I'm gonna go into the restart the conversation. Always restart the conversation. Otherwise, you're testing the conversation, not your actions. Summarize property name, standing Victorian. Let's go with that one. Get big again. All right. So we have a property management topic. It identifies the record by name. As you know, in Salesforce, every record has a name. In this case, the names are standing Victorian. So it finds the object. It gives me the ID. Now I can go ahead and summarize the record, another action. So it chains the actions together. It has to do two actions here, and then you get your response. Refresh the conversation. Give me the details of property named. Come on, standing Victorian. Maybe I can do this better. Maximizing, minimizing. Getting confused. All right, so similar to what we did before, you first have to identify the record by name, then it gets the record details. Okay, let's restart the conversation. We're going to change now and say, give me the details of property at 18 Henry Street. And I get, it appears there's no records for property 18 Henry Street in the system. Please verify the address or provide additional details. Okay, why is it not finding it? Well, if you look at this, it's trying to identify record by name. And the name of the record is 18 Henry Street, which is not going to find any records, because if you go in here to the actual property itself and you find the name, it's Stony Victorian. The address is 18 Henry Street. So it's not finding it because it's looking by name. Okay, so it says, sorry, I couldn't find it. So before he was working in the builder, at least before he was working, because we were doing the context, we were finding the conversation. So if I don't refresh the screen or refresh the conversation, then it's gonna look at what has been in the conversation and get your answer from there, which basically means we're not testing the actual topic. So an easy way to solve this is to actually click on suggest improvement. What is it gonna do? So it's gonna open up, and we're gonna type in here, it did not query the property based on the address field. Okay, what's incorrect? And what should the agent be doing? Well, the agent should query for the property based on that. So we click submit. To improve the agent's response in your query, I suggest doing the following updates. Edit the topic description to include property searches. So assist users with property searches using the field, boom, boom, boom. Add an instruction to the topic guide. Now, because you could be doing this with me right now, you would be getting different answers, and I don't know what those answers are, and we need to be consistent in this exercise. Then I'm not in real life. If I was working on a real project, I would just maybe copy this and paste it into a topic or change the words, but get an idea of what's actually going, which is kind of what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to follow those suggestions, but I'm going to use some words that I have predefined on the exercise guide so that we can actually have a little bit of consistency. Oh, shoot. Okay, I have all this. Okay, so manage the description. kind of follow the idea that we were talking about. Is in the description when I say manage property records, including query properties based on name, which is already doing, address, zip, and city. Actually, wait, hold on. This should be a double underscore. That should be a double underscore. Okay, for some reason it's not putting it. Oh, and this should be a double underscore. I'm not sure if that's a problem on the exercise. Which exercise is this? This is exercise number 6. 6.6.11. 6.6.11. Double underscore. All right, so put the double underscore there. Scope is not going to change, but we're going to change the instruction to be query properties based on name, address. I think it's my website not being able to understand what I'm trying to do here. To retrieve relevant details. All right, we're gonna click save. Now what we're gonna do is we already told it that we're gonna look for name, for address, whatever. So we don't want to actually use the standard action of finding by the record name. So we're gonna go ahead and remove that one so it doesn't accidentally use it. Alok, what's up?
Yeah, yeah, this is all good. But before doing these modifications, I tried an utterance saying that list me the same utterance, but I said at the address 18 Henry Street. But it should use query records automatically, right? Because I said at address, at location. I used those keywords in my utterance.
With the instruction that we were having before, which just says manage property instructions, it doesn't know that it needs to use those fields to do the query. And that's what we're fixing.
Okay, makes sense. Okay,
good, excellent. All right, so we remove the record by name. We don't want to accidentally use that one. Make sure that you're saving your changes. Restart the conversation. Now we're gonna take that look at that utterance that is not working for us, which is give me the details of 18 Henry Street. So hopefully you understand the pattern. You start very small. You test some utterance. The one that breaks, you fix it. Right? Don't just build the whole topic in there. So now it's using the query records because now it knows that it has to query on the address. So what it does, if we look into the planner, it's what you were thinking it should do, but we were not telling it that it was going to be done. So now it builds this particular query, looking for address is equals to 18 Henry Street. Stuart, what's up?
Yeah, just one thing, just to follow up what Alec said, and we've had this conversation before. Alec had enhanced his instruction to put in certain keywords. Now, that was a discussion you and I had a while about trying to avoid like business logic and syntax in our instructions because the LLM is more basic than that and using, the more basic language. And I wondered
which business logic am I using right here?
No. What Alex said, Alec comment was he added specific keywords to his instructions. So when I hear keywords, I think syntax and keywords, where that implies adding business logic to the instruction. Not you, it was just his comment. So maybe when you get a comment like that, you may want to address it because we've had those conversations a lot. And I know when you're doing a demo, it's hard to keep track of everything. So maybe you want to raise that.
Noted. All right. Because we are using some language. Should be double underscore. We're using some business language. Not business logic, but business language. A property, we know that is a house, right? But a property is an attribute, not a physical thing that you live in, right? So it's kind of okay to do the word properties because there's an object called property. And the Atlas knows about your metadata. All right. But always write it, test it, fix it, and then move on. All right. So we're going to do... We did that one already. Kind of got lost a little bit. All right. Oh, so what we're gonna do now? I'm gonna restart this. I'm gonna do a slightly different URL. So I want you to watch this. Rather than saying street, I'm gonna say st. Now I also put a dot in here just in case this tries to do a like. And if you don't put the street, well, it will work with the abbreviation. But with a dot, then when it tries to do a street dot, well, that's the or st dot, then it will not find it, right? So let's see if users, let's start making changes to the utterance, and let's see if the users are able to actually use abbreviations for that. All right, so give me details for the properties. Did I refreshed? For st, we know it should be a street. Thus, Atlas knows that it should be a street. Oh, I couldn't find any property with the address Henry Street. Okay, that or st. Well, that's expected because when it does the SOCO query, it tries to find address equals Henry St, and of course the address it's Henry Street, not st dot, right? So it's not gonna find it. So we need to make changes to our topic. And the topic we're going to do is this topic over here. Okay, so we make it a little bit more clear. If you need to find a property, you can either property name, for example, Stan Victorian. Use the property ID, which is an 18 characters. Atlas doesn't know what the IDs are 18 characters, so we're telling it that it is 18 characters. Use the property address, for example, 123 Main Street. Use the zip code 5 digits. Because of course we only sell a house in the US, of course. In Canada, the zip code is different. And use the property city, and always convert the abbreviations st and w to the long words string and west. All right. So we save that. We refresh the conversation. Let's see if we can find it now. Oh, we found it. Yay. All right. Now restart the conversation and test the last utterance. Let's see if avenue works, right? Because I gave the abbreviation for, where was it? Street and west. I didn't say anything about avenue. Well, let's see if it works for avenue. Oh, it did work. So it was able to find the address for avenue. So it's following our instructions. Okay. Start from small and start making it bigger. That's the main key takeaway of this little part over here. All right. So the next one. Okay. So we did queries. What about DMLs? Change the status of the property at 18 Herring Street to sold. Okay, let's close this guy. Oh, sometimes this happens. That button kind of doesn't become active. All right. Change the status of property at 1800 to sold. Good news, we just sold a house. So let's see if it takes it. Okay, I found the property 18 Henry Street listed as Stony Victorian. Would you like me to change that? Confirm. Yes, I do. It seems sold is not a valid option for the status field. Could you provide this correct status? All right. So actually, you know what? You're right. It's not sold. It's closed. There's a pick list, and it's a restricted pick list. And seriously, again, reload and paste and run. All right. So there's a pick list. there's a restricted pick list, and the values are either close or whatever. So if we go into 18 Henry Street, we see under the details that the status is actually a field. There's no sold, but there's closed. Okay, so all right, let's see. Did it build? No, confirm. All right, it seems to be changed. Let's go back into a house. Let's go in, refresh this page. We're gonna go into the related lists for property history, and it was changed from available to close. All right, it did work. Oh, beautiful. So we don't have to write instructions for make changes because it already knows how to make changes. All right, so let's take this one here. A little bit different utterance. Modify the property description of property at 1800 Street. The description should be, so I sold this house or sold this house. Please on list. Yes, confirm. All right, so let's go back. We can refresh. Description is a long test, so you don't have the old value and the new value, but we know that it was changed. You can actually go back to this record and see that the details is sold this house. Please on list. All right. Okay, so then seems to be working. Let's do another utterance. Let's test. Update the price of the property, etc., etc. Update the price of the property at 18 Henry Street to $950,000. All right. Oh, it's not gonna fail. I was expecting it to fail. And I was expecting it to. It's something. For who of you failed? Did anybody? Are you guys following these exercises? Did it fail for anybody? No. Did it work for you, Tripty?
Worked okay for me.
Work for me.
Oh, interesting. Should have failed. Hold on. What's going on?
So LLM is learning.
It is learning because I used to have to be able. I used to be able. No, I used to be required to have another instruction. We're gonna add it just in case. The instruction says the property current field's price must be formatted when changing the data. Remove these characters, $sign and commas. So it was actually trying to enter this string into a number field. But you see in here, it's actually being, it's doing that actually before even we do the instruction.
It failed for me.
It failed for you.
Yeah.
All right. So you have, see, sometimes this is the thing of being non-deterministic, and what really makes doing a session like this, and I cannot imagine when I'm going to do this in front of 100 people.
Well, what I would suggest for the people that it succeeded, try activating it and do it from the UI instead of
No, it takes too much. It takes too much time, and
okay.
don't want to take that amount time. Homework. But
Homework.
for everybody, just add the instruction just to be safe. And probably you're gonna not write the instruction, test it works for you, then you deploy it. Then your user are gonna say, well, it's not working for me, and then you're gonna have to go back and write the instruction. All right, so let's do a little bit more complex one. So let's refresh this. Let's paste it here. Why is it doing this? I mean, it used to do it once or twice, but now it seems like it's very consistent. Not give me the blue button. Okay, find the other properties, not 18 Henry Street. Find me the other properties in Cambridge, except for 18 Henry Street, and for each property, increase the price by 10%. So I found three. Properties, and for those, it increased the price by 10%. Actually, it's asking me if I want to do that. Yes, confirm. It's going to ask me to confirm it for every single one of them. So confirm. All right. So it changed the price to that. So we can actually start writing more complex instructions there. All right. Now, another thing that is happening here is there is a related object, which is called price histories, which shows me the change in history. What was the old price and the new price? So this one came down, but if I look for the other properties at Cambridge and look for the related record, the prices actually goes up by 10%, as we ask it to do. All right. So I'm going to ask another question. What is the listing price history for 18 Henry Street? This is the one that the price came down. All right, so it's looking for that. Notice that we didn't have to change the instructions. It knows that when we ask for price history, it's looking for the object called price history related to the property. Shows us the value here. We can ask another utterance here, which it will be find the properties in Cambridge, the three that we change, and the 18 Henry Street. And for each property, show the price history. Okay, we're a little bit on time for the second break. So we can see the changes here. Yeah. The last thing I want to do before we actually go for a break, it's this one. Okay. Why is it doing that? Loses the buttons.
That's been happening to me all weekend long. So you're not alone.
Maybe they change it, because I mean I used to lose it once every hour, not once every 5 minutes.
Welcome to emerging technology.
All right. So find the properties in Cambridge, and for each property indicate where there has been a price change, or there's a price history. Price history, yes. Did it go up or down? Right. So again, it's kind of the same thing we were talking about earlier. The language is very important, because that's the way we are communicating with the AI. What we should have done is show the price history, not indicate if there is a price history. Okay. So with that, we're going to take another 5 minutes break. Thank you guys for being here, keeping me company while we go through these exercises. Hopefully, it has been useful to you guys.
Very
Oh, yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting this together.
Very good.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Stuart. All right. So time is up. I'm gonna come back from a break, and we finish exercise 6. We're gonna go into talking a little bit about agentic programming, the new way of thinking. Who's back? Give me a thumbs up if you're back. Nobody. Oh, thanks, Eric. Anybody else came back? Thanks, Budimar. Okay, good. All right. So we're going to talk about agentic programming, which is the new way of programming, the new way of building your agents. Because building agent force means teaching them rather than programming them. So the difference between building agents and traditional programming. Okay, are you a developer? If you're a developer, forget everything you know about programming. I think this is the first time in ever that I have been able to say that administrators have a little bit of an advantage over developers. It's probably the first time that has ever occurred. You're not a developer? Good. All right. So why do I think, and I am a hard code developer, and this is actually coming from my own personal experience. I had to unlearn many things and relearn new things. So why traditional programming might be holding you back? Well, as a developer, we are traditionally focused on the implementation details, which means we're stuck on a procedural thinking, which means or leads to missing the forest for the trees. We take a look at the trees and the leaves in the trees and the branches on the trees, not the forest. And we tend to over-engineer solutions. The old way of doing things, traditional programming, we write specific instructions. We handle every single edge case. We define the exact procedures. We basically focus on how a problem needs to be solved. We think about variables, methods, classes, control structures, loops, ifs, etc., etc. But with the new way, with agentic programming, we need to start thinking about differently. We need to start thinking about setting goals and boundaries, teaching about decision making, providing context and knowledge, basically focusing on what needs to be done and why it needs to be done rather than on how it needs to be done. So therefore, we become the architects of the solutions, not the coders for that particular solution. So another idea, another kind of view of the same idea is start thinking like a manager, not like a programmer. Imagine you train a new employee. You hire a new employee, and you need to start training them. You don't program their every move. You do explain what the objectives are. You do provide the resources that they can use. You set up the boundaries. We call them guardrails. We do trust their judgment. And that's exactly how you're going to build those agents. So designing the agent force, first thing you should actually is plan your agent. Answer these questions. What problem will your agent be solving? What's the agent's main goal? How will that goal be solved? What information does it need? What actions can it take? What should it be able to do? And probably even more importantly, what should it not be able to do? So that you establish the guardrails. And last but not least, how you're going to measure success. What is a good agent? Some of the things that you should try to avoid: don't overcomplicate the purpose. Avoid trying to handle every possible scenario in the agent. Start small. Start adding things as needed. Don't think in code. Focus on what needs to be done and why it needs to be done rather than how it needs to be done. Avoid giving specific instructions. If you give instructions specific, you're coding, not teaching. So focus on what needs to be done and why, not how it's going to be done. Start simple, build incrementally. Understand the agent's capabilities and limitations. Agents are really, really good at handling natural language, English, Spanish, French, whatever language. There's no business for putting business logic in the agent. Take the business logic out. If you're putting business in, you are defining how it needs to be done, not what needs to be done. So the other thing is that you start thinking about building atomic components. What's an atomic component? Think about like you're building Lego blocks. Lego, that is a Lego. Apex, flows, prompt templates, API callouts. Those should be atomic, reusable, and high quality. They should only be one job and one job only, and they should do it well. You probably heard about this before. Invoke from the agent action. So your agent is going to take some actions. Those actions which are going to be deterministic, are built in Apex flows, prompt templates, API callouts. So with this architecture, you're going to be able to have a flexible automation, a clean and scalable solutions. All right. So how do you build your Lego blocks? Simplicity and atomicity. They should perform only one function and do it well and excel at it. Give it a name, short name, unique name that describes what is it trying to do. Provide minimal arguments. Right? Don't send a whole bunch of data to it. If you send a whole bunch of data, it's because it's trying to do too much, and now you are violating the simplicity. And then make sure you test it. Now, we can test it on the same we've been testing, or you can actually use tools like the Agentforce Testing Center. Okay. Review the Atlas reasoning plan. Why is it not working? What is it? What is the agent thinking? Well, they don't think, but what is it trying to understand and come up with? That's the importance of understanding the Atlas reasoning plan. So when I talk about these agents and these Lego blocks, an agent will have multiple topics. A topic can have one or more instructions, and the instructions can call one or more actions. Those actions could be actually reused if needed. All right, so a few more interesting things, bullet points that you should be aware of when you're building an agent. Let's start talking about the topics. So the topic label or the name, it's the job to be done. What is it actually going to be doing? The classification, it's 1 or 4 sentences that summarizes the topic. For the Atlas reasoning engine, it will select the topic that it needs to execute based on the label and the description. It doesn't use the scope to select the topic, but it uses the scope to define the guardrails after the topic has been selected. Avoid overlapping topics, right? So if you have one topic which is called product support and one which is called troubleshooting, you're probably doing the same thing. Try to avoid those overlapping topics. Now, when it comes to the actual instructions, minimum number of instructions per topic. Don't just start putting all the instructions that you can think of. Write small instructions, and then only add what is needed, if it's needed, and when it's needed. Avoid the complexity and conflicts. Be careful with always and never, especially in one same instruction, because you may get something that is neither going to be always or never, and then the agent will not know what to do. All right. So minimize multiple steps. Try to avoid things like do this, then that, then that, then that. Because if you're doing it, you're probably putting business logic inside the agent. For those rare cases in which it's required, consider numbering the steps. Do this first, then do this second. Okay, give it a number. So it's going to help the agent understand what you're trying to do. Are you trying to build some deterministic logic? Get it out of the agent, move it into a flow or Apex or an API or something else. For the actions, how many actions per topic? Try to keep it less to 10 actions per topic. Too many things, and your topic is trying to do too many things. So you're again violating the atomicity principle. Maybe split into 2 topics, but be careful to do overlapping topics. Make sure that they're actually not overlapping. So it's probably better to put 12 instructions rather than 2 overlapping topics. Now, the actions that you're gonna call could be standard actions. We've done that all day today. Prompt templates, APIs with the help of external services. You can call flows. You can call Apex. The development lifecycle of your agent starts with designing. And in this design, think about the urgencies. What are the questions that the agent needs to answer? Then go into setup, turn on instant, turn on this, set up the data cloud if you're going to use a RAG, do all the setup. Then you start building your agent. You configure, you test, configure, test, configure, test. Test it, it doesn't work, add an instruction or modify the instruction. Test it again, test it again, test it again. Then you deploy and finally you monitor. But after monitoring, you may need to go back into building if your agents start working for some users differently than from other users. We have experienced that today. All right. More best practices. I've wrote a very long set of articles. There's a QR code that you can access those articles at. All right. So let's get busy again. And what we're gonna do this time is we're going to do open house events. Okay. So the utterances that we're gonna work. Remember, this is where we start, right? I say start with the utterances, start building the topics, etc., etc. So schedule an open house at 18 Henry Street next Saturday at 10 a.m. Schedule it at 3:45 with a specific broker. Is there a open house? Show me the open house. List all. Okay. So think about the different utterances that you're gonna get, but also kind of for this particular session for today, notice that we're actually trying to do is DML. We're not asking questions anymore. We're trying to do actions now. Okay. So that's going to be exercise 7A. Let's see. I can probably try to do this again. All right. So scheduling that. So, okay. So let's refresh this and try one utterance. Let's see what we have. Schedule an open house at 18 Henry Street for next Saturday at 10 a.m. I found the property 18 Henry Street. Would you like me to schedule the open house for next Saturday? Yes, I do. I found the property 18 Henry Street, but I need more information to schedule the open house. Could you please specify? Now, let's take a look. We're actually getting an error right here. Okay, it's trying to do an update. Actually, before I move on, let me go back to here. The open house is one separate event, one separate object that is a related object, right? So what it's trying to do here is update the property field to do the agent. So it doesn't know how to schedule them. That's fine. We're gonna have to teach it. Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do is let's start thinking about how we're gonna teach this. We're gonna create a new topic. It's not a new instruction. It's a new topic because each topic should do one thing. Do it well. Avoid overlapping, which is not. One is to get information about the property. The other one's to talk about the open house. So I'm gonna copy this. Assist Dreamhouse employees with managing open house events, including scheduling. Let's paste that. Including scheduling new open events, displaying existing schedules, reschedule opening, etc., etc. All right. So we're gonna accept all the texts. We're gonna do some standard actions. So look for the word record. We're gonna get record details, query records, summarize record. All right. Click finish. With that, let's refresh this and schedule an open house at 10 a.m. So let's take that utterance.
Found something odd in my create topic when I see my list of actions. Get record details is not there.
It is interesting.
Yeah, I've got identify record by name, but that's the only thing in the list of 49 actions that has the word record in it.
How many? If you do record, how many you have? 7?
Now, when I type in the word record, I only get one, which is identify record by name.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I too face the same issue. So just say finish and then add it later. It just
Okay.
might be a refresh problem.
Okay.
Probably.
Cool.
Probably. And I think I need to do one more thing here. Hold on. This is exercise 7A. 7A dot. Because later I found a problem and I removed that one action, but then now it's not gonna work for what I need. So 7A, add the update function action back and then remove it and then remove it. Okay. All right. So one more thing I want to do is actually add one more action. So I need to actually change the table in that of the ones that we just created. And I do want to do the update record. So of course, what I need to do right now is not going to work. Topic action. What is this? Configurations open house actions is going to add asset to a record, and it's going to be updated record. Oh, was that the problem? It's only showing me 4 because I already have 3. Eric, did you create a new topic?
No, what I did was I went from the topic property management.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah, that's the thing. You need to create
what I
another
did was
topic.
I saved it, and then I did what the other gentleman suggested, which is go say add existing library actions, and I found all the records then, so I just added them that way.
Yeah. I think I know what's going on here. When you go to property management and you do add a new from the asset library, you
Right?
look for record.
Mm-hmm.
You only have one identify record by name, which was the one that we deleted. But that's because we're working on a different topic. These are the actions for the topic. But the issue is that you select this topic. We're actually configuring this topic right here.
Okay.
And for this, you should have 4 actions, including update record. There's a mistake on the instructions.
Okay, that's the one I added 7 to. So what are the 4? I should see update record details.
Get record details, query record.
No, Andres, it
Right.
happened for
No.
the event one only. I think there is a refresh problem. It thought maybe it is for the previous topic that actions.
That's possible as well. That
Yeah.
is also possible as well. All right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have those 4 actions for the open house event. Right. Schedule an open house at 10 a.m. To schedule an open house event, I need to gather information. Could you please confirm the following information? Is this correct? Yes. Thank you for confirming. I will proceed to schedule that. Okay. The open house event has been scheduled for May 24th, 10 a.m. at 18 Henry Street. Do I need any further instruction? But I don't see actually that happening here. On the planner, it's not actually doing it. And if I go into the data, I don't think that we'll find it. What properties? 18 Henry Street. It's hallucinating. I go into related list. There's no open house events. So it didn't do it. Okay. So it's definitely hallucinating. It doesn't know how to create the event. Okay. All right. So we could go ahead and start adding more instructions, start messing up with this and tell it exactly what it means to create an open house. When you are creating an open house, you need to create this record, put these fields in here, make sure you do the. Would that be a good idea? Should that be the way that we fix this? Keep going and iterating over the instructions? Or do you guys think we should do something else? Do you think we're going to be able to create, okay, let me change the question. Do you think we're going to be able to create a deterministic process with the help of just instructions? Should we put deterministic code in the agent itself?
No.
No.
Go for flows, Apex, APIs.
Go for flows or for Apex. Exactly. That's what we need to do. Okay. So there's no business for having business logic in the agent. Focus on what needs to be done and why it needs to be done rather than how it's going to be done. So where do you put the business logic? You put it in flows, you put it in Apex, and if your business logic is to format something, I want it to look the answer to look like this. Prompt template is going to be a good option for you. All right. So what we're going to do is the agent is going to call the action. The action is going to call the flow. The flow is going to do the open house event for you, and is going to be returning, and then the agent decides what needs to be done after this. Okay, so we invoke that, we call the flow, we process the request, we return back into the action, back into the planner itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a flow for this. I already built it, so we're not going to build it just for purpose of time. And you need to do two things. In this case, we're going to create the record and we're going to get it back. So we get any formula fields or IDs or anything that we need, we bring it back. And we need to configure if the variables are going to be done for input or for output. Once we have this, then we can create the actual action. And that's what we're going to do on the next exercise. So now I have a flow that I already built, floats. I have a flow that I already built, which is called, it's part of the package that we installed today. It is called, let's make this a little bit bigger. ETDH schedule, a schedule, not a reschedule, schedule property. Where we create the record with the broker, the date time, the property. We just query back the same record that we just created. And we're going to get some information like the broker ID available for input, the date time also for input, property ID for input, and the this one is the output, which is the ID of the record that we created. So we need to call this particular prompt. What we're going to do in there, it's first of all, we need to activate it. We're going to create a new action. So we go into the topic itself. We create a new action. This action is going to be a flow. The flow is schedule property open house event. We click next. Because we defined, or when we save the flow, we do the descriptions, and for each of the variables, we do descriptions. So we're going to pre-populate this information. The loading text is going to be schedule open house events. Actually, we need this a little bit bigger. Yeah, we can do this. The broker ID, we don't configure that. It's not required. You may have it without a broker. But we do require the date time. And the property house event, we show that on the conversation as object. And this one is text. Okay, we click finish. Now we need to update the instruction. So, did we? we need instruction, but we have multiple instructions here. I think we need, I think let's delete all the instructions here and just leave one and replace that one. Oops. Replace that one with a text that, so the description of the scope is good. Is the instructions the one that is actually not working? So get rid of all the instructions and replace it with one. Says, how do you create a new open house event? You must have the property ID. If you don't have the property ID, use the property management topic that we already have to find the actual ID, because we can do it by address, by zip code, by whatever. If a broker is desired, you must have the broker ID. But if you don't, then you don't need the broker ID. Gather all necessary details such as date, time, property, confirm the details with the user, and then call the action that we just created. Okay, so we're gonna click save. And refresh the conversation. Let's see if we're able to actually make that scheduling. All right, so apparently we did, it worked. Let's go back to Standing Victorian. We do a reload here. Related. It actually created one event or one open house event, which is that one at 10 a.m., just like we requested. All right. Over the weekend, Stuart and I were working together, and we noticed that it was actually giving me here 7 a.m. because it was Pacific time. That's the user that is running this code here is not the same user that is viewing this code here. This is me. This is platform integration. But so the daytime was actually fixed. But apparently, what we were talking about with Stuart is that they broke it in summer. All right. I noted that we are a little bit behind, so let's talk only about the important things. All right. So I could test other URLs and test to see if I can put a broker in there. Find what's the next open house. Show me the open house for this address. Anything for the weekend. Okay. But there's a problem. Is that this flow that we built, or that not the build that we're using here, it's going to create records. So when I do things like reschedule, it's actually going to create new records. And that's actually a problem. I want to change the time, not create a different event, right? So when I reschedule it, it was actually giving me different things. We can actually test that one. So let's go back in here. Let's actually start with scheduling this one at 3:45 p.m. with Andres being the broker. So now we have a broker. Before we didn't have a broker. Once we get, let's see, maybe I need to click on the confirm button. All right, so it created that. If we go back here, we refresh. We have two events. Reschedule, can say reschedule for 4 p.m. So go back here, reschedule that. And this is kind of part of the whole idea I've been talking about. Start small, do some tests. When you find that it doesn't work anymore, then that's the one I need. When you find that you need to make some adjustments. All right. So confirm it. Oh, actually, it didn't create one. Okay. So if it had created one, then I had another flow that I had already built. the other flow was actually called reschedule, which if it is a new one, you schedule. If it is an update, you reschedule. Then I basically call that other flow. And then I need to update the instruction because I need to call the reschedule action. And one more important thing is that I need to pass the ID of the event that I'm actually scheduling. All right, I want to show you this one as well. So I'm gonna refresh my conversation here. Gonna go here. I'm gonna do this here. Delete open house event for property 18 Harris Street. Well, that's interesting. That's not what I was expecting. Why was not working? Property at. Oh God. Why is it being so difficult today? Is it because it's being recorded? Probably. So if you do the delete open house event, what it happened is that it will actually tell you property. Let's see what if I do. I want to show you that delete open house at events property located at street. Oh, this is what I was looking for. All right. I can help you scheduling new open house events, displaying schedules, and reschedule it, which means not delete. That's a guardrail that doesn't allow me to delete the records, and that goes from the scope that says that you can do this. You are not allowed to delete. And it knows how to schedule and reschedule, but it doesn't know how to delete because we told it not to delete. All right. So the next thing is talking about neighborhoods. So where is this house? Okay. So some of the utterances that we have in there is, can you give me information about the neighborhood for property 18 Henry Street? Tell me about the community around Henry Street. Are there good schools? What is the crime rate? Okay. So for that, all right, so welcome to the blog. And also give me the walk score. The walk score is, there's an app or a website called Walk Score that is going to give you that information. So how do we query what's around that? We're not going to have records in Salesforce with every possible restaurant or something. What we're going to do is we're going to use one of the regular APIs that are provided to give you that information. So we're going to make an API call. Unfortunately, none of these are free. So we're actually going to use a mock website that I built in Heroku that you just provide the zip code and it will give you the information we're looking for. So making an API call, we could easily make it one of these different sites, but we're going to use the one I built. So what we're doing here is we're going to do that API call from Apex. So the planner calls the action calls Apex. Apex does its thing by querying the API. The API will return the list of the results and then goes back into the planner. and the planner decides what to do next. Now, how do you call Apex from Agentforce? Well, you need to define an invocable method. You also need to create a method that is static. It takes a list of parameters, which is going to be one parameter, but you should always be treated as a list of parameters. To handle them, you're going to put that inside a loop. You're going to return a list of results, and the results and the requests are defined within your Apex class as well. And the variables in there are called invocable variables for the request and for the result. All right. So that's exercise number 8. So let's actually create the instruction. We're going to create a new topic. This new topic. Oh, no, actually, we're not creating a new topic. We're creating a new instruction. So we're going to go into property management, and we're going to create a new instruction. The instruction is provide clients with, well, I need to take some shortcuts. We're not going to be able to go through the entire exercises. Provide clients with comprehensive neighborhood insights by answering questions or comparing areas based on school, crimes. What I found recently is that this action actually works quite well because the LLM is able to go and look for the information about the zip code without having to call our action. So what we really need to do for most of the information, except the walk score, we need to be able to call ourselves the Apex class. So we're gonna look at the, we're gonna create the action. So let's go into the actual, let's save this, go into the property management actions. We're gonna create a new action, which is for Apex. It's an invocable method, and it is zip code location information. Okay, we click next. We have all this pre-populated because we can also put the kind of the way that we did the descriptions on the flow. We can do that with Apex. This is going to be finding neighborhood information. Interest is required. Property ID is required. The error is going to be showed in the conversation, and zip code info in rich text. Make sure it's rich text. I show that in the conversation. I'm going to click finish. Refresh. We need to update the instruction so that it calls our action. Go into the topic configuration. Find this one. Provide clients with comprehensive neighborhood information. Click on save. No, we're going to skip that. Now we're going to test it. All right. So, can you give me information about the neighborhood for the property 18 Henry Street? Let's try it again because it's not giving me the neighborhood information, just giving me the record. Oh, yeah, I was expecting that. Oh, I encounter a issue while retrieving the neighborhood information. If you go into a developer console, you'll see that the problem has to do with the user not having permission to make a call to external websites. And we can fix that by going into permission sets. There's one permission set called the Dreamhouse event. And in here we have a name credential access, which gives No. Wrong one. External credentials. Where are you? External credential principal access, which give us information to the zip code. But if you look at who has that permission set, nobody does. So I'm going to add that permission set to myself so that I can make a call to that name credential. Now I'm going to go back here and do it again. All right. So this is what we're getting through Apex. All this stuff. Okay. So did we get information about the neighborhood? Yes, we did. Can you read it? Yeah, sure. Can your users? No way. So you're going to have to format this. Okay. And what we're going to do for that is we're going to create a prompt template. I don't think I have used ones. Yeah, that's that. Cannot really see it. Oh, no. This is really important. All right. So this is basically what I have, right? Saying that you cannot really find much stuff in here, and you always get the same information. You get all the package. So if you look for give me information about the food, you'll get exactly the same thing that if you ask for schools, which is kind of not really useful. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a prompt template. The prompt template is going to look something like this. The data below is for 18 Henry Street, Cambridge, whatever. I want you to extract information about food and format it. These are the information I'm getting. The same JSON string that I just showed you there is going to be passed to here. This will actually extract, because we're looking for food, is going to look for grocery stores and for restaurants. Well, because grocery stores sells food and restaurants sells cooked food, right? So then, because we're looking for food, we're going to be able to find that data, and we're going to get an output like this. You may think that this seems very familiar to RAG, and that's actually, you're right. We are kind of doing a little bit of RAG in here. Retrieval augmented generation. Not for a PDF, but for a JSON response that we're getting from the web. Okay, so the way we're going to do that is that we're going to call the planner, calls Apex. Apex calls the web service. We get the response. And when we get the response right there, before going back into the planner, we're going to go to the prompt and that. So from Apex, we need to make a call from a prompt. And these are the Apex classes that are used to make that call. Create a map, initialize the prompt, call the prompt, and parse the result. Okay, so that is exercise number 9. So what we're going to do, first of all, what we're going to do is work on the prompt. Go into the prompt builder, create a new prompt template. This guy is going to be a flex template. It's going to be called analyze zip code information, extracts and formats zip code location information. We have 3 resources we're going to use. First one is zip code data. This one is a free text. We're going to use interest. This one is a free text. We're going to use property. Property is the actual property, which is an object, which is a property object. Okay. And I copy this. So the data below is about the property as address, city, state, and zip code. It's interest. And then the zip code data goes here. So we are going to then test the prompt template. We're going to go into test inputs. Zip code data is going to be this JSON file from here. Paste it. The interest is going to be schools or food or whatever you're looking for. And the property is going to be stunning Victorian. We look for property. All right, save and preview. Let's make this bigger. So on the resolution, we're saying this is the address. We're looking for schools. And this is the JSON format, the JSON object that we have. And then the response is still in JSON, but it's only for schools. So if I look for food, it's looking into the same object, the same JSON data, but now it's only going to give me grocery stores and restaurants. Now it's still in JSON format, which is not very readable. So we are actually going to make a change. Let's make the change from here. So a little bit more instructions. Now we're saying that format that with an HTML, do bolds, italics, and underlines. It's about the same interest, which is food. Some additional information. This is the property. Let's do a preview here. All right, so now you see it's HTML, H3B, bolds, under what is this? Lists, unordered list, list item, right? So if we provide this response and the action is a rich text, it will actually look much better. So let me prove that to you. We're gonna go into the developer console. You need to make one small change to the code. Under the classes, we're gonna do etdh. I need to change two classes. I need to change this one, but I also need to change this one. So here, I'm gonna comment this line, which is the one that making the call, and it was just returning the response. But now it's gonna take that response and call my prompt. The prompt is gonna be called from this other class over here, or I need to get rid of that line and these two lines over here. All right. So we're gonna go back here. Gonna use the same prompt. Okay, let's refresh this. Let's call it over here. Huh. Says that he found an. Oh, it says encounter an issue or retrieving the neighborhood information. Oh God, what did I break now? Oh wait, my prompt is not active. I think that's an easy one to fix. Activate. Okay, that's what it helps to have the developer console open and monitoring not only you, but actually monitoring the platform integration user. All right. So notice now it has bullets. and titles and bolds and italics and all that stuff, because now it's generating HTML with properly formatted. All right. The last thing, it's a RAG. So let's see if it actually finished doing this. What if I do a run query here? Oh, good. We got data. So I can do the RAG. So the utterances that I'm gonna do in here are, again, hopefully you understand the pattern by now. You start with the utterances and you work your way backwards from there. Hold on. My computer just went black. Okay. I think I'm back. Okay. Tripty, I'm good? Okay,
I see
I'll
your-
log. You're good. All
I
right.
see your screen and it says
Yeah.
utterances. Yep.
Yeah. That's what it was, but my screen for a minute went black.
Yeah, we saw that too.
Okay. So these are the utterances. Hopefully you see the pattern by now. We start with the utterances, then we work our way backwards. Okay, so retrieval augmented generation. So what does that mean? Well, RAG is going to combine your retrieval systems, maybe from a PDF, from a vector index, maybe from a JSON object like I showed you before, and a large language model. So it helps you because if you change the PDF, you don't have to retrain the LLM. You can just get the actual data from there. It avoids hallucinations if you do it properly, and access only trusted information sources that you provide, right? Not the LLM, but your actual prompt itself. So what is RAG? RAG is retrieval, find relevant information from controlled sources, PDF files, chunking, augmented, just like we saw in the previous exercise where we were augmenting our prompt with JSON, and then generates an answer. So in the similar way, we say on a prompt, your helpful assistant, use the following information to answer the user's question. What's Dreamhouse guidelines for publishing? And then you load a PDF file and it will find the sections on the PDF using vector index, but basically it's going to be grounding the prompt with that information. So there are a few things in here. We have the user prompt. We have the retrieval, getting the information based on a vector index. Augmented, we're going to have a prompt that has the sections for the PDF that we're interested in. And then the large language model will do the generation for you, so you end up with some response. Okay, you can configure that as we're going to see in prompt template. Notice this is information extracted for the PDF file. You will see here that is a file, chunk, and whatever. So that information is extracted from there. We're just saying, okay, trying to find the answers on that document for this particular question. Okay, the question needs to go into the configuration of your retriever. Then the retriever needs to go here in the document. And we're going to see that on the last demo, which is exercise number 10. Let's go to that one. All right. So we already did the part seeing that we actually have data here. This is the chunks that we're getting. All right, we're gonna create a prompt template. So I'm gonna go into let me close a few things here. Gonna go into a prompt builder, new prompt template. It's gonna be a flex template. It's gonna be called ETDH, El Toro Dreamhouse. The description is gonna be use rack, whatever from the file. and we need to enter the question. Okay. And the question is going to be free text. All right. So click next. We are going to copy this prompt. You need to answer this question. So let's change the question for the free text. Question. Using the information you find below, you need to follow these instructions, format the response in a professional tone, etc., 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 etc. And for the rack data, we are going to use resources, instant search, rack file UDMO, and property policy. And we need to configure this with a resource, which is free text question. So it's going to answer the question. We could go in here and select a different model. Default is Omnimedia. I guess that's good. We could choose a different one. Then we go into test inputs. And for the test inputs, I'm going to ask this question. What is the version number and date of the Dreamhouse property listing guidelines? And after a second, let me make this a little bit bigger. So we can close this. This is the prompt. This is the information from the retriever. The prompt is going to take all this information and find the answer, and it actually does find it, and it says that the version is 2.1, and it was March 27 when it was actually invoked. So we're going to activate it before I do forget. We could try other audiences. We're going to create a new topic. The new topic, we need to go to the agent. We're going to create a new topic. Provide precise information, factual answers about Dreamhouse rental and purchase policy by retrieving specific information directly from the official guidelines document. That creates the name of the topic, the description, scope, and some instructions. We're going to remove all the instructions just to be consistent. And just one instruction, which is clarify any ambiguous queries by asking more details. Click next, no action, and we click finish. I think I finished. I think I clicked finish twice. We do need to, an action, we need to create that. So we're going to rental and purchase policies, topic action, new action. This one's going to be a prompt. It is going to be rack from listings. Next. Reading the policy. The questions being asked. It is require input. And then showing conversation, and we click finish. We need to update the instruction to call the instruction. So this is the same thing we had, but basically now we say, okay, call this action to retrieve information. We click save. We test the agent. So the same question, what is the version of the document, blah, blah, blah. Refresh. All right, that is a wrap. Thank you so much for attending this session, for watching the recording. My name is Andres Perez. I go on LinkedIn as Eldoro IT. And if you found any of this useful and you want to donate buy me a cup of coffee, I will really appreciate that. I do this out of my free time. This is not part of my job. So if you like it and you enjoy it, please consider buying me a virtual cup of coffee. Your appreciation means a lot to me. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.